Assalamualaikum and hello YouTube, my name is Nur Muhammad from Homage, and yes, I am back with another comparison video reviews. Okay, so this time around on the blue corner is this Steeldive 1970 or 1967, I can't remember, but anyway, so this is basically this homage to the Captain Willard watch by Seiko. So this is the Steeldive. On the red corner we have the next contender, which is this Heimdallr I'm the 6105 Captain Willard Homage, right? So before this, I was under the impression that both of these watch is the same exact thing. They are made by the same factory and they just slap on a different logo, but I am totally wrong, and I will talk about it later, right? So before we do that, let's do a quick wristwatch check. Today I am still wearing my one and only pilot watch in my collection, which is this Steeldive pilot watch. So this is another homage of this what do you call that, what was it, IWC Mark 18. So I think, but if you compare it to that particular watch, I think this is a much better design. Please go ahead and check out my first or initial review for this particular piece, maybe up here. All right, so let's get back to the watches themselves, right? So so some viewers in my previous video commented that, hey man, so can you get a Steeldive and Heimdallr together, so can you just compare them? And yes, your wish has been granted, right? So I've said in my previous initial review for this previous video for this particular Steeldive, this is on loan from a buddy. Mr. Amar is a dealer of Steeldive here in Malaysia. This one is my personal watch. I've bought it from the heimdallrwatch.com. What was it? Heimdallr? I think it's from heimdallrwatch.com, directly from the website. So yeah, the price, right? So this one you can get for, sometimes you can get it for under $100, but if like AliExpress doesn't have any sales, we can get this for about 110 to 120. So this one regularly you can find them at about 149, but I've got it for a lot cheaper because the website gave me a special YouTube reviewers discount. So yeah, I've got it for about 100, I think 109 or 120, I can't remember, but it's basically almost similarly priced, right? So, but are these the same? The quick answer to that particular question is definitely not, right? So end of the video, that's it, bye bye. Okay, so but anyway, I'm not going to be doing that, but yeah, let's just go through one by one, and yeah, maybe you should grab a coffee or a tea or whatever, because it's going to be quite a long one, right? So let's get the dimensions out of the way from first, right? So the dimensions, I think these are going to be very, very similar. So the diameter for this particular piece is about 43 and a half. The thickness, right? The thickness is about 13, just over 13 there. And the lug to lug for 3.5, 13. The lug to lug for this particular watch but Heimdallr is about 47.5, right? So versus the Steeldive is about 43.5 as well. The thickness, however, is a bit thicker at about 13.5. Just now it's 13, this is 13.5. So that is due to that particular, you can see that the crystal is a bit higher compared to the to this bezel, and the lug to lug is about 46.5. so it's a bit shorter lug to lug. That one is 47, this is 46.5. so that is one of the reasons why I say that these are not the exact same watch, right? So the weight, of course, you can't really compare it head to head, because I'm using this on this NATO strap. So it's gonna be about 105 grams, and this one on this very, very cool cozy handmade leather strap, so it's gonna be about 108 grams. Yeah, almost the same, right? So anyway, so the case, let's start with the case first. So basically, if you can see that, let's start with the case finishing. So just now we've established that the case is a wee bit different, and the case finishing. So both of these watches features a brushed finishing on top and a polished finishing on side, right? So but if you can see properly, the case finishing on this particular Steeldive, let me just zoom in a bit, that this thing has a circular brush finishing on top, and we have a very nice polishing on the side, right? But if you compare to the finishing on the Heimdallr, you can see that the brush finishing, this one is a whole lot finer. It's a much more fine circular brushing, so you don't really see that coarse brush finishing as on the Steeldive, right? As you can see there, right? So that is difference number one. Difference number two, the case shape itself. So yeah, so if you want to frame freeze it, so you can frame freeze it now. So you can see that this part here is a bit thick and this part here a bit thin, right? And this shape is like sloped here and it just been flattened there. But if you see the Heimdallr, see, this one is more thinner, this one is much thinner, and this one is totally different shape comparing to the Steeldive. Let's just put it side by side, and yeah, you can see that it is a totally different case. Okay, so if you see at the back, right, so you see where the crown, so you can see that we have this groove pattern here, and on this Steeldive, that is a totally different design. So for someone who if somebody told you that this is the same exact case, it is not. All right, so on this side as well, so you can see that this case is basically turning down and that this part is a bit bigger, and on the Heimdallr is a lot thinner. Okay, so basically these are not the same. What I'm trying to say is these are not the same exact case, right? So what about the bezel? You can see the Steeldive is on top. The bezel on the Heimdallr is on top. So you can, although they are both have this coin edge finishing, the Heimdallr's bezel is a bit thicker comparing to the one on the Steeldive, right? So we have established that the case on both watch is different, and the bezel is also different. With this one is a lot thinner, this one is a lot thicker. And let's talk about the bezel, right? So let's just give it a quick wipey, right? So you can see that the bezel insert on the Heimdallr and on the Steeldive, they are not the same size. Oh, come on, focus. These things are a bit too shiny. So the bezel on the Steeldive is a bit thinner, whilst the one on the Heimdallr is a bit thicker. I mean thicker in the size, right? So of course this features a full lume bezel. This one is not. This one only has that lume on the pip there, and you can see that the difference on the printing. So this one is a bit bigger, this one is a bit smaller, and yeah, that is where it differs. And let's go to the bezel action. This one is a bit loose. You can see that there is a bit of back play there. The sound is not really that, you know what, how to say that, convincing in my opinion. Of course they both features a 120 clicks. This one, however, is a lot tighter, right? So there's definitely no back play because of that very tight spring action. And I have to say, initially it's a bit too tight to turn, but after I've used it for a few times, it doesn't really, it loosens down a bit, and yeah, that's that. Okay, so the crystal on this particular thing is flat, laying flat on the similarly to the bezel, and that one does not. That one protrudes out, and of course we have the same exact beveling here. The good thing about this beveling of this thing protruding out is it will not any lint or dust would not stuck inside here. This one, however, sometimes I can see some dirt stuck between here, so I have to clean it out. You know, I don't really like things stuck in my crystal. And our anti-reflective coating are basically both are the same. They both feature that very I would say blue or purple AR tint you can see on this light. Maybe on the Steeldive is a bit more, I'm not really sure. You can see those blue lights playing around on the Steeldive. Yeah, I think the one on the Steeldive is a bit more. And yeah, that's that. Okay, so the dial, alright, so this is where it differs. The dial on the Steeldive is matte black, and it's not really that deep black. It's a bit gray or dark gray, but on the Heimdallr is that inky black, but not shiny black, right? So I can't really understand. It's not really featuring a shiny surface, but it is a lot darker in black. And of course, we have the printed Steeldive logo here, and an applied Heimdallr logo here. And the automatic and water resist 200 meters water, 200 meters printing is fatter on the Heimdallr, and the Steeldive is a little bit thinner. And we have that, what do you call this, limited edition 61058110 printing on the Heimdallr, but they don't feature that in the Steeldive, right? So, and there are a few other things as well. So the printing on this automatic and on the minute indices is actually, let me zoom in a bit, that is actually in silver, not in white, whilst on this one is basically it is in white, right? So that gives it a much, how to say, what do you call this, this looks a bit more quite a lot of contrast. Come on, focus, right? So this one is a bit more subdued in my opinion, and somehow I prefer this one, right? So the hands, let's talk about the hands. The hands on this Steeldive is a polished, right, polished handset. So let me zoom in a bit so you can see that those hands are basically polished, right? So you can see it playing around in the light. So those hands are polished, right? So on the Heimdallr, however, those hands are actually brushed. Right, I bet you didn't see that one coming, huh? So that is basically a brush handset on the hour, and also on the minute hands, and also on the second hands. So the second hand tip features this, what we call this, traffic light style. This one also traffic light style, but you can see that the one on the Steeldive, I don't really like that shape, especially on the tip. On this one, it features a much more sharper looking second hand tip, in my opinion, right? So the indices, however, what do you call this, it's basically the same, but they are different in size, in my opinion. So if I put it side by side, oh come on man, focus. All right, so let's just focus a bit here. Okay, so the indices on the Heimdallr, especially the 12 o'clock, you can see that they are a bit thicker comparing to the one on the Steeldive. And the Lume, both features and applied indices. The Lume, okay, how they apply the Lume is, I don't know, maybe they're using a silk printing or whatever type of printing method, but you can see on the Heimdallr, sorry, on the Steeldive, it's a bit, the surface is not too flat. There's a bit of blotchiness and uneven surface on the indices, you can see there. But on the Heimdallr, they are a lot more even. I don't really know if that contributes to the strength of the Lume or whatever, but I prefer it to be a lot more flat, in my opinion. And yeah, so those are the difference. The date window, of course, are frame on this one, and on the on the Steeldive is almost the same, but you can see that on the Heimdallr it's more rectangular. On the Steeldive it's more of a square, right? So definitely not the same dial, guys, right? So on the back, of course, we have this Heimdallr screwed in case back. You can say almost the same about the of course this H case back, so I don't think any difference there. And yeah, I think that's about it, guys. So on the wrist is gonna be, oh, I forgot one more big thing. So this one, right, so this crown is let me see how tall, how big it is. It's about 6 millimeters, but on the Heimdallr is actually, it's about, so okay, that is about 6 millimeters as well. But you can see that the diameter, although the diameter is the same, you can see that the Heimdallr is much more taller. So I don't really know how to measure this one. Oops, maybe like that. Okay, so that is about 5 millimeters on this Steeldive. Nope. Okay, so that is about 4 millimeters, right? So it is a lot smaller. So I know what, on about the crown action. The crown action on this Steeldive is definitely a lot better. So you can see when I open it, boom, it has that, you know what, it has that crown pop, and the spring is very strong on this one. On the Heimdallr, however, maybe because of the big crown, so it does pop, but it doesn't have that spring action here. So yeah, that kind of suck. But so that makes the screwing in action is a bit difficult. So oh, you can see from here that the shape of this particular case on top is, this one is a bit narrower, this one is a bit bigger. But in real time, or in real real life use, so screwing it back on the Steeldive is a whole lot easier comparing when the comparing with the Heimdallr. So this one, I don't know, sometimes I don't really feel it catches, so I have to, you know, turn it back a few times, and boom, come on, it doesn't go. And yep, you see how much I struggle to screw that thing back in, and yeah, that sucks. Anyway, so this one features a fully polished crown, and the Steeldive does have that very cool Steeldive logo at the back, right? So what else should I talk about? Yeah, I think that's about it. So you get, maybe there is a bit of difference between the color of the indices. So this one looks a bit more white, this one looks a bit more green. Not that much of a difference, but of course the lume. Yeah, let's check the lume. Let's check the lume. I'm so sorry, Kurt. I'm not. Yeah, so please don't sue me for any copyrights or whatever. So I just love that song on the Kurt from the Minute Watch channel. So you can see the lume on this one is a lot greener. All right, so a lot greener, and also we have this blue lume here. On this one, however, it's a bit, it is still green, but it's much more white. So let's give it a bit of a UV here, so you can see, oh man, that looks so damn good. And another one more time, let's charge it up a bit with our green, our UV light, and you can see both lume are very good. And yeah, I don't know, man, it's just so nice. You know, we have this black, green and blue, right? And we have this green lume from Heimdallr. Both are good, and it will, if you charge it properly before you go to bed, and you will definitely see this lume even up until 5 a.m. in the morning, right? So which one should you get? Okay, that is a very nice question. For me, this is just for me, guys. So if you guys are totally you know what, entitled to your own opinion, I would still go for the Heimdallr. I just love that inky black dial. It looks so black, it's like looking into a black hole. On this one, however, it has that textured dial, which is, you know what, it doesn't really have that big of a texture, but it's still not as black as I wanted it to be. And combined with that a bit, you know what, a bit loose-ish bezel, I just prefer the bezel action on this one. Of course, it does have a few weaknesses, especially on the crown, and it doesn't have a full lume bezel insert. This one has those, you know what. So basically, you know what, if you want something that is much more refined, you go for the Heimdallr. If you want something that is a whole lot bang for buck, and the Steeldive is the way to go. Right, so your wishes has been granted, my subscribers. So this is my review of comparison video review of this very cool Chinese special watch from AliExpress, and I hope you like it. And please, if you want to see more future videos reviews such as this one, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to give this video a like. And if you want to see future video reviews, please go ahead and subscribe, and of course push the bell notification twice so that you won't miss any of my future video reviews. Until next time, stay safe, bye bye.